back to another Mary Truth Talk show. I am your host, Marianne, and we have a lot of things to talk about today. Today I'm having something new. It's called, what is it called? What is it called?
Crown Royale.
Yeah, I don't know why I can't say that. Crown Royale with some Canadian dry.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ginger beer.
Yeah, we changed it up, because tomorrow's Cinco de Mayo, so we're changing it up. All right, so before we begin, follow me on Instagram and TikTok, Mary_Truths with an S. That's Mary, Mary_Truths with an S. And follow our wellness page, MB Elevates. That's at MB Elevate. Also on TikTok as well. And if you want to help us in a monetary way and support the content by helping us fund this and making it better, at the end of the day, we are doing this for you, not just for us. Subscribe to our Patreon, link in bio. I believe it's www.patreon.com/MBElevate. I'm not mistaken. So let's begin. So Law and Order, a little bit of Law and Order. Supreme Court will decide on whether tax dollars should fund Catholic charter schools. Interesting. Immigration, my favorite one. Supreme Court ruled 7-2 on the block of deportations through the Alien Enemies Act. Y'all already know how I feel about that, but I'm going to tell you anyway. Politics. Secretary of State Marco Rubio claims there was an office that monitored social media accounts. That's fucking crazy. International. Trump closed on the Ukraine mineral deal. Woo! Awesome. All right. Another international story. Yemen rebels attack Israel airport. Yikes. And the last one is a truth seeker story, and you'll find out to the end. So stay tuned, watch to the end, and you'll find out what that last story is all about. So let's start with the first one. This one is pretty interesting. I'm not surprised that we're here. So Supreme Court will decide on whether tax dollars should fund Catholic charter schools. This is interesting because I believe charter schools are like half private, half public. So that's a tricky one because, separation of church and state. But let's see. We're going to see what the Supreme Court decides. Let's watch this really quick.
We simply don't have the money in the state of Oklahoma to be able to do this effectively without harming the schools that we have in place. And those schools are the rural heartbeat of our state. Our rural towns and economies depend on healthy schools. And so when we start taking resources away from already underfunded public schools in the state of Oklahoma, that's a really bad thing.
So nice. So pretty. We're going to be there soon, guys.
My issue
in
is
D.C., not in
with
Oklahoma.
Kids attending a Catholic private school. My own child did that. And we're not Catholic, but we felt like that was the place for her to be. But the difference in this, I didn't go around knocking on doors asking my neighbors to pay for it.
Oh, okay. Go to the part where they're talking. Oh, there it is. Never mind. Stay there.
I see it very clearly that there's been a war on Christianity, and our schools have been the epicenter of that. It's so key for us as Oklahomans to be a leader in saying religious liberty is going to be protected in Oklahoma like in no other state. And we're going to give parents more rights in education than anywhere in the country. And that means a free ability to choose the school of your choice, whether it's a religious education, whether it's a charter school, public school, homeschool, all the above. And I believe that this is going to open the door for a lot of new schools that I think will be really impactful in the education space. So that's why I'm very excited about the case. I think it's big for Oklahoma, but I think it's big for the country.
All right, that's it. So yeah, it definitely is big for the country because if the Supreme Court rules that tax dollars can go to funding Catholic charter schools, and essentially more religious charter schools will manifest and more parents will prefer to take their kids there. And it continues to prove my thoughts on separation of church and state, that it doesn't exist. It does not exist. It never has existed. It never will exist. Like, people really believe that there is a separation because they want to, not because there is. Like, the majority of people in power have a faith. The majority of politicians have a religion they quote unquote follow. So there's never really a separation, and there really can't be. And I don't think there should be to an extent. Like, I'm not saying the government should force people to be religious, but this idea that parents shouldn't want to put their kids in a religious school, and if parents are taxpayers, they should, and if they want to do that, they should be able to do that because it's their money on the line, not the government's money. So, I mean, this is really big. I think, I mean, I don't know what is going to happen. I don't know if they're going to rule in favor of it or not. But if they do, it's like the guy said, this is going to be huge for parents. Like, I'm seeing it in the sense of, if the Supreme Court rules that taxpayer money can go to religious charter schools, then that's going to open the opportunity for more parental choice on kids' education. Like, when I was growing up, we didn't have what is that called? School choice. We didn't have that. That did not exist in our time. And I'm not that old. What was it when we graduated? Was what, 11 years ago or 10 years ago?
2014.
So it hasn't really been that long, and things have drastically changed for the better when it comes to kids. It's cool that kids now have school choice. We didn't have that. Whatever zip code you were at, that's the school you went to that correlated to that zip code. And if you wanted to go to another school, you had to apply, and for the most part, if it was a magnet school, you had to perform. And if your performance was good, then you can get in. But if not, then you're screwed. So
yeah, I mean, I for one, I agree, like, with what he was saying. I really do feel like Christianity has been attacked a lot, and not just by the school system, just in general, in media and everything. But to touch base on the whole academic portion of it, like, I'm one who disagrees with having religion in school, like, as a mandatory thing. It should be like either an after school activity or an elective if you want to learn more about it. You get what I'm saying? Like, religion shouldn't have a place in education. Like, you know what I'm saying?
What if the taxpayers want to pay for a religious option for their kids? Shouldn't they have the right to do that? Well,
you just said option. That's what I mean. There should be an option, of course, but not a forced curriculum.
Okay,
based on Christianity.
Yeah,
I completely disagree with that. 100%. What I also disagree with is these other new religions coming in. Well, not the one I want to refer to is Satanism. So there's this satanic club in this happened in Memphis about a year ago, that they opened up this club for kids. It's about Satanism. Teach them about Satanism, and the whole thing is like, oh well, it's a religion too, and kids have a right to know about it, and yada yada yada. That, yeah, I don't know about that.
I mean, if we can't have Bible studies, then we shouldn't have Satanism. Like.
Right, and then you go into the whole thing. That's what I'm saying. That's why I don't think religion has a place in school, and because then if you have one, then you have to have the other, right?
Yes, you would have to have them all. You would have to have Muslim. You would have to have Hindu. You would have to have Jewish. You would have to have them all.
But that's why I did it after hour. That's why I did it after school, though. See, they're not dumb. That's exactly why I did it after school.
Well, yeah, because then it's not a curriculum.
Exactly.
Yeah, it is smart.
Yeah.
What's up, Jose? Thank you so much for showing up. Yeah, our Pledge of Allegiance is basically a prayer. Exactly. Yes, 100%. Yeah. It is a prayer, and it does say under God. So, yeah, most definitely 100% agree with you on that. And I also agree with Laz on that. Even though I'm more in favor of religion being in school, I rather this concept better of having the parents decide whether they want to fund a religious school with their tax dollars. I think that is better overall. So let's move on to the next one here. This is immigration. This is pretty crazy, and I think the Supreme Court overstepped here, but tell me what you think. Supreme Court ruled 7-2 on the block of deportations through the Alien Enemies Act. Let me give you the time frame of this. which is pretty crazy, the time frame. Okay, so the U.S. Supreme Court issued a significant ruling on April 19th, temporarily blocking the deportation of Venezuelan migrants under the Alien Enemies Act. In a 7-2 decision, the court responded to an emergency appeal from the American Civil Liberties Union, the ACLU, which has a lot of power in D.C., which argued that the Trump administration was proceeding with deportations without providing detainees adequate notice or the opportunity to challenge their removal. Pretty much saying that these people that came here the wrong way still have rights in the court system. The emergency order followed an earlier Supreme Court decision on April 7th. The case is called Trump v. JGG. In that ruling, the court vacated a lower court's restraining order and held that challenges to deportations under the Alien Enemies Act must be filed as habeas corpus petitions in the district where the detainees are held. The court also emphasized that detainees must receive sufficient notice to seek judicial review before removal. Look up habeas corpus for me really quick. The April 19th ruling specifically addressed concerns that the administration was not complying with the April 7th decision. So even though they did that ruling in April 7th, they continue to deport people. And then, let me see here, blah, blah, blah. In April, address concerns, okay. And then May 1st, so just a couple days ago in Texas, the U.S. District Judge Fernando Rodriguez Jr. in Texas issued a permanent injunction against the use of the Alien Enemies Act for deportations in the Southern District of Texas. So that District Judge of Texas is pretty much saying that the administration has exceeded the statutory boundaries of the law, noting that there was no evidence of an organized armed attack by Venezuela or the gang Tren de Aragua, which the administration has designated as a foreign terrorist organization. All right.
So yeah, habeas corpus, a judicial order forcing law enforcement authorities to produce a prisoner they are holding and to justify the prisoner's continued confinement.
So the ACLU, which is a group of lawyers that fight for people's civil rights, okay, even though they committed crimes, they're still going to fight for the civil rights. They were the ones who bailed out the people that were doing the whole rioting for like weeks for the whole Floyd thing. They pretty much were being funded to bail all those people out that actually committed crimes and destroyed private property. So these are the same people who did not help J6ers at all. J6ers were Americans, are Americans, didn't really have any due process, considering they're Americans, and they were put in prison for 4 years. And the ACLU did not fight for them at all. And this is a supposedly American Civil Liberties Union organization filled with lawyers who supposedly care about civil liberties, but only for those they prefer to fight for. So what you're saying is they forced the Supreme Court, or they persuaded the Supreme Court to pretty much rule that every Venezuelan detainee that is considered Tren de Aragua or MS-13 has to have like judicial review. Is that what that's? What does that mean again? Habeas corpus?
They need like a justification, like of why
so, like probable
they're
cause.
incarcerated. Yeah.
Okay. That's fucking crazy. That's crazy because coming here illegally should be enough. Like, there was no due process for you to come to the country incorrectly, but there must be due process for you to leave the country. Like, tell me how that makes sense. Tell me how that makes sense. And what I really don't understand is, how is it that the Supreme Court ruled 7-2 when they know that the Biden administration purposely allowed all these people to come through the border? Like, I don't understand that. Like, how did you vote 7-2? That wasn't even a tight vote. That was like a, we did completely disagree with you vote. Like, it was bad enough that the last vote was a 5-4 vote. This is a 7-2 vote. This is a definite no. So for every person who says this is Trump's courts and all that bullshit, this proves that just because he put people in there, they're not going to agree with every single thing the administration does. In this case, they want people that came here the wrong way to somehow have due process. And it's like, I don't understand why you are fighting for people that came here the wrong way. Like, you are defending people that did not give a shit about our national security and came here out of the main part. The fucking Biden administration was like, yeah, you can come here. We allow everybody here. Come here. We'll give you food stamps. We'll give you Medicaid, Medicaid. We'll give you a free stay at a hotel for your choice. Wherever you want to go to, we'll bus you there. And it's like, I don't understand. But yet none of these lawyers were doing any type of injunction when there was millions of people going through the border. But now that this administration actually wants to take these people out, which, by the way, Obama did the same thing. He just didn't record it. Everything was done through the wraps, but it doesn't change the fact that he did deport millions of people. But because this guy wants to tell you that we're not fucking around, you cannot come here incorrectly, he can't do it. I think the Supreme Court overstepped their boundaries here. I don't think it's the business of the Supreme Court to pretty much tie the executive branch's hands when it comes to national security. I don't. I think the executive branch has power over national security. It's literally their fucking job. That's why they're commander in chief. It's their job to secure the country, even though Biden did not do that. That was his job. So by the Supreme Court ruling 7-2, I'm not going to allow you to continue deporting people under the Alien Enemies Act. You're pretty much saying, yeah, like, you don't get to have the full powers of the executive branch. We are going to have power over the executive branch. And I think this is a bad precedent for any president that comes after Donald Trump. That's how you have to see these courts. It's not just the ruling of what's happening right now. It's how is that going to affect the future of the court system and the executive branch and the government in general. So I'm not happy about this. This is not good. This is not good news at all. This is not a win. This is a lose, a massive loss. It worries me because they shouldn't be prioritizing people that came here the wrong way, especially because the media is scaring the shit out of people and saying that Americans can get deported, which is incorrect. And I said this last time and I'll say it again. Americans cannot get deported. But there was a 4-year-old, I believe it was a 4-year-old, if you can look this up. There was a 4-year-old with cancer whose mother was deported, and the mother took her 4-year-old kid with cancer who was an American. And the mainstream media is like, you see, the Trump administration is deporting Americans. And it's like, no, dude, the mother came here the wrong way. The baby's clearly an anchor baby because the mother's illegal. So unless the father is legal, then I don't know. But she's illegal. That's why she's getting her ass deported. And she chose to be a good mom and take her kid with her. Like, how is that? That doesn't mean he's supporting people getting deported, but whatever. That's what they're saying. Check out this video whenever you get the chance of the video, and then we'll go back to that story.
We also have homegrown criminals that push people into subways, that hit elderly ladies on the back of the head with a baseball bat when they're not looking, that are absolute monsters. I'd like to include them in the group of people to get them out of the country, but you'll have to be looking at the laws on that, Steve, okay?
You mentioned that you're open to deporting individuals that aren't foreign aliens but are criminals to El Salvador. Does that include potentially U.S. citizens, fully naturalized Americans?
If they're criminals and if they hit people with baseball bats over their head that happen to be 90 years old, and if they rape 87-year-old women in Coney Island, Brooklyn.
Why would you rape an 87-year-old?
What do you think? There's a special category of person? They're as bad as anybody that comes in. We have bad ones too. And I'm all for it. Because we can do things with the president for less money and have great security. And we have a huge prison population. We have a huge number of prisons, and then we have the private prisons, and some are operated well, I guess, and some aren't. But he does a great job with that. We have others that we're negotiating with too. But no, if it's a homegrown criminal, I have no problem. Now, we're studying the laws right now. Pam is studying. If we can do that, that's good. And I'm talking about violent people. I'm talking about really bad people. Really bad people.
Huge.
All right, so MSNBC, what is it that the video says on the bottom? What's the title of the video?
Title: Trump says he supports deporting U.S. citizens.
Yeah, you see. So that's the new narrative now. You know, they're scaring people. If you can find the video with Obama, Michelle Obama saying that she has a hard time sleeping at night because of these mass deportations, even though her husband, under his regime, deported 3 million plus people from this country. She cannot sleep at night because of these massive deportations when they're not even that massive compared to her husband. So insane how we've come to this point where now the media and the left is pretty much saying that it is wrong for Americans and for the Trump administration to want to deport people that came here the wrong way. And it's like, so what you're saying is you don't want people to have accountability. If you can't literally put people accountable that are not even supposed to be here, how are you going to have accountability for those who were born here? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you cannot enforce a law for people that are not even supposed to be here and pretty much put them in their place and say, yo, you fucked up. You came here the wrong way. You shouldn't have. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to take you back. If we can't do that, what makes us think we're going to be able to enforce the laws for our own citizens? Our citizens are going to be like, well, I mean, if the illegals can get away with shit, why? I mean, I should be able to get away with shit, because that's literally how people think. And I mean, I'm not saying that you should think like that, but I understand why you would want to think like that, because you're literally saying to illegals, including the Supreme Court, you're special, you know, we feel bad for you. You came from a really bad country. Boo fucking who, bro? You know how many people, listen, my grandmother with diabetes is in a third world country, okay? And it's taken us over 2 years to bring her here legally, okay? So I don't want to hear it from anybody saying we should feel bad for these people. No, fuck them. They're the reasons why we've been waiting over 2 years for my diabetic grandmother, who's over 80 years old, to come here from a third world country, who's not even a third world, it's practically a fourth world country right now. Because how often does Cuba have electricity right now? For like a couple hours?
Not even a day.
So I wouldn't even consider it a third world country at this point.
Yeah,
so
if you add it up, maybe like for the week, maybe a few hours, the whole week.
It's just wrong.
Like 3-4 hours of having electricity is terrible.
It's terrible.
And on top of that, I don't have food either.
So it's like we have people living in really bad conditions where they're actually trying to come here. Like, people here are trying to bring them the right way, and the process takes so long because it is jam-packed by people who chose to come here the wrong way. So you're screwing over people like us who are bringing our families the right way. And that's why literal legal immigrants voted for Trump and not for the left, because the left does not come to that realization that you're screwing over people like us who came here the right way and who want to bring our families the right way. Like, this is not rocket science. This is like basic shit. I don't know why Americans don't fucking see this. Maybe it's because you're literally living in an echo chamber, but like, talk to immigrants, dude. Talk to people that have families in third world countries who are trying to bring them here legally, and tell them, like, you're advocating for the wrong people. You shouldn't be advocating for the illegal migrant who came here the wrong way. You should be advocating for me, the legal one. That's, I mean, whatever. You tell me what you think. That's what I think. Did you find out the story? With Michelle Obama saying how fucking sorry she is? Oh, okay. Is there a video about it, though?
No.
There's no video? Okay. It's not that? I can't see if that's a video.
This is not a video.
Oh, okay. Is that they don't... She doesn't
one
have...
of her supposedly claiming to be a man.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Quote, unquote.
Yeah, nobody cares about that. She said that for attention, probably. All right, so...
I was just taking that out of context, to be honest.
I mean, I guess. But, I mean, why would you say it like that? No, I just... The way she said it was just... Whatever. We just want to hear her say that she's a man. That's it. That's all we really want. Just say it, you know. Allegedly, we think that. We don't, you know.
She's never going to say it. Allegedly. Obama slipped up a couple times, though.
Yeah, Obama did slip up a couple times. So, I mean, people will think whatever they think. I believe you should, as an American, talk to immigrants and actually listen to their perspective because you might learn something. So, let's go to politics. Secretary of State Marco Rubio claims there was an office that monitored social media accounts. And I would not be surprised if I was one of the victims, because man, was I censored for 4 years straight. And now all of a sudden my momentum is back and I'm getting more followers again on Instagram. So weird, the timing. Let's check this out.
They're coming online every single day. Very talented people. Very talented people are involved. Something else we got out of the business of wasn't widely reported, or maybe it was. We had an office in the Department of State whose job it was to censor Americans. And by the way, I'm not going to say who it is. I'll leave it up to them. There's at least one person at this table today who had a dossier in that building of social media posts to identify them as purveyors of disinformation. We have these dossiers. We are going to be turning those over to these individuals.
We can follow up with the media.
Well, we are going to turn over these dossiers to the individuals, and they'll decide whether they want to disclose it or not. But just think about it. The Department of State of the United States had set up an office to monitor the social media posts and commentary of American citizens to identify them as vectors of disinformation, when we know that the best way to combat disinformation is freedom of speech and transparency.
Yep.
And so that's what we're going to be in the business of doing. We're not going to have an office that does that. Beyond that, Mr. President,
right,
I'll move quickly because this is...
All right, so have you guys ever seen the show Homeland? If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend you watch it. If you're really into like government, criminal, like crime law and like action and spies and all that stuff. If you're into all that in action, I recommend you watch it. It's really good, very addictive. One of those, like, I'm not much of a binger. Like, I can watch maybe 2 shows.
Oh, that's
come on, bro. Don't lie. There's people that literally watch like a whole show and like nothing. My mom's a binger.
You just gotta find the right one. And
no bullshit. I what is that called when you like simmer at something?
Nah.
I let it simmer, bro.
When you really like it, you go ham.
No, but I still don't binge. Binge is when you literally watch something in like a really short amount of time. It takes us months to watch something. Don't even play.
Man, we finished 8 seasons in 2 months.
That's pretty good. There's people that finish.
I mean,
that's really good.
I guess.
And that's because we were watching like four episodes
I don't know. Maybe
it
was less than a month. I don't know.
No, it was more than a month.
Sorry, less than 2 months.
It was definitely more than a month.
But
sure.
Yeah.
It's a really good show. You guys should watch it. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because in the show, spoiler alert, there's a scene where you see a humongous mass of like a room with a bunch of people with computers, and they're pretending to be these fake accounts on social media, and they're like pushing like propaganda. And then when this story popped up, I immediately thought of that. I was like, oh shit.
Mind you, this kind of information wasn't as like public in a sense. Not a lot of people knew about it back then that they know now. Because now, like, oh, you tell me about a bot farm. I'm like, yeah, I know about that. That's like common or whatever.
Right.
But that was like back in 2015, 2014.
Yeah, that show's not new at all. It's an older show.
Yeah. But that idea of like people in a room creating like multiple fake accounts, like 5 per person, and they're all bombarding, the social media to spin a narrative.
It's crazy.
For intelligence is insane.
And then
it's genius. It's genius indeed.
I genuinely thought that I was a victim of this because it's really weird. So during Trump's like end term, I started like posting more on Instagram, right? And then I started getting really big traction. And then when Biden came in, my traction just plateaued for 4 years straight. And I kid you not, right towards the end of Biden's term, I start spiking up again and my momentum starts back on Instagram's algorithm. So it's almost as if I was being censored by the algorithm for like a 3.5 year ride. And I'm assuming it has something to do with maybe this. Maybe it has something to do with the fact that Meta's no longer colluding with the Biden-Harris administration because they realized that they were going to lose. Kamala Harris was not going to win, and that's why he was kissing ass to Trump. But nonetheless, this is crazy. And this also ties in to Meta / Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg. There's a girl, I forgot her name. I don't know her name. She's like a British chick who worked with him, who whistleblowed against the company because they were selling data to the Chinese government. And there was like a huge program that they were doing with the Chinese government. And she was pretty much telling Congress about it. This happened like 3 weeks ago. So I wouldn't be surprised if now the algorithm has drastically changed because the board of directors are pretty much being exposed for surveillancing Americans and selling their data to the Chinese government, which is fucking insane. Like, I saw that hearing and I didn't want to post because it's way too long, but it really shows that big tech has its own agenda. And I've always thought, I'm like, bro, I don't care how fucking cool Zuck is trying to look right now. He's still a fucking nerdy, leftist, shitty person, you know? Like, I don't think that guy's a good person, okay?
His whole new look is all a PR stunt.
Massive PR campaign.
He's not like that at all.
At all.
He's just trying to, like, get people to trust him, basically.
Exactly. Like, oh, I hang out with,
trying to humanize
Whitney,
himself.
What is it called? Not Whitney. What's his? Dana White. I hang out with Dana White, and I'm one of.
He's a dude, bro. Now.
Yeah, I'm one of the cool kids now. Bro, you're
UFC,
still a fucking nerdy, geeky, techie guy who was trying to like take over the world with China. Okay.
Remember that time where he said
allegedly?
Remember that time where he said he was human once?
Yeah, bro. Are you one of? Tell me who is one of those people that believes that Mark Zuckerberg is probably not human and is an android robot or something? I'm gonna raise my hand.
Write it down in the comments.
I'm one of those. I am guilty as charged. All right, so crazy. We have a freaking. Well, maybe we don't anymore, but we have an office that monitors social media accounts. So look at that. All right, let's go on to international stuff. We have two things that are really big in the international level. We got Trump closed on the Ukraine mineral deal. That is huge. I tried.
No. So you use the H in there. It's just huge.
It's hard.
Just say huge.
Huge.
There you go.
It's huge.
Yeah, you gotta use the teeth. The teeth gotta be out there.
But pretty crazy how last week we were talking about how, I wonder what Trump is telling Zelensky when they were like literally face to face in that big ass ballroom with 2 chairs. And I'm here like, he's probably telling Zelensky, if you don't do this, we're going to let Russia take over your own country, motherfucker. And then now they're like, all right, they've made a deal. And now we're going to have a mineral Ukraine deal. And it's like, what a coincidence that right after they had that talk, there's a deal. They closed on the deal. So let's take a look at this.
A flagship moment in Ukraine-U.S. relations, a new mineral deal granting Americans preferential access to Ukrainian resources, hailed by President Volodymyr Zelensky as the first concrete outcome of his Vatican meeting with Donald Trump.
Although negotiations were sometimes difficult, the result is strong.
The deal mends frayed relations and many Ukrainians hope signals an end to the war.
Maybe this will have a good impact for Ukraine because it might push other countries to put pressure on the Russian government and maybe the war will finally end.
But many Ukrainians remain wary of the Trump administration, if not the American people.
Whatever they're signing over there, they're doing it for their own benefit. It's a win for Trump. As a person, I don't trust him at all.
Fighting in Kherson, fires in Odessa, unexploded bombs in Kyiv.
Oh, snap.
Attacks on Kharkiv, Sumy, and Cherkasy. The deal was signed as the war carried on. Russian missiles and drones
That's
still raining
crazy.
down
The
on
deal
Ukrainian
was
cities.
signed as the war carried on. That's
Kyiv
crazy,
has long
bro.
hoped economic leverage could secure greater military support. And the day the deal was signed, the White House authorized more than $50 million in direct weapons sales to Ukraine. The first such approval since Trump returned to the White House.
That's right. Make that
It
money.
was only weeks ago when President
Make
Zelensky
that
announced his
military
intentions to spend
contract
tens
money.
of billions of dollars on U.S. air defense systems. No doubt the hope in Kyiv now is that the latest approval of arms sales is only the beginning. Also on Wednesday, Trump
All
ally
right, that's
Senator
it.
Lindsey
Nobody-
Graham said
nobody
he's
cares about
ready.
that. All right, so they're making money off of weapons they're selling to Ukraine, supposedly. But they made a mineral deal, which means we're going to have people mining for resources in Ukraine, which supposedly is going to deter Russia to wanting to continue to attack Ukraine. At least that's what people are saying is the plan. I don't really know what the plan is. I just think that was a pretty good idea of Trump saying, yeah, like, you can't pay us back, so we're going to need your stuff. Whatever you got that's valuable, yeah, it's ours now. Okay. And, I mean, supposedly Ukraine's going to get a kickback out of it, so it's not a total loss for Ukraine. Of course, people are not happy about it, and they want to continue having the war because we have people that love war. Yes, they have to have bloodshed. But, you know, a lot of people are going back to those Vietnam times.
What'd you say? Say it again?
Bro, I can never say that word right. He always makes fun of me every fucking time.
Vietnam.
I say Vietnam. I say it like spelled like this. Vietknob. That's how
Vietnam.
That's how I say it. I don't know the accent, bro. And I only speak two
What
languages.
accent is that supposed to be?
I don't know, man. It's an
Vietnam?
accent.
What is that? Indian? Vietnam?
I can do an Indian accent. I'm not gonna try.
Don't.
I'm not
Just,
gonna try.
no. Don't.
I can do it though. I can do it. I'm
Yeah,
just not
I
gonna do it on camera.
I don't doubt your skills.
But I mean, I think this is a good idea, having a minerals deal and pretty much showing the Americans that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. You know, it's not just all this craziness with tariffs. There's deals behind the tariffs. There's deals behind the threats, you know. And I think that this is just a first of many deals that's going to happen in the next 100, 200, 300 days. So I'm looking forward to more deals. I want to see more deals. I want to see deals with Israel and Gaza. I want to see that close. That needs to close. We're going to talk about that soon. I want to see a deal with Iran. I want to see that. I want to see a deal with China. I want to see a deal with Russia. I want to see this guy be known as the president who not only wrote the art of the deal, but he makes the most deals in 4 years. I want him to be that guy. And I think he should listen to me and be that guy. All right, Trump. All right, cool. Let's move on to the next one. Yemen rebels. Jesus Christ. Yemen rebels attack Israel airport. Oh, man. The attack is not funny. It's not funny, but I said rebels instead of rebels. All right, so let's take a look at this. And is that the beginning of that video? Wow,
yeah.
They're really anti-Israel. That's crazy. The anti-Semiticness of this video really shows.
Crazy, man.
I think this is a Hindu broadcasting. I could be wrong. I'm not sure.
Says Local 10 News, ABC.
Okay. ABC?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. For sure. Definitely very anti-Jewish. All right, let's do it.
Meanwhile, breaking overnight, we're following this. Israeli police now saying air traffic was closed at the country's main international airport after a missile launch from Yemen. With the war in Gaza dragging on, Israel has faced continued attacks from Iranian-backed Houthi rebels, launching a missile overnight that set off air raid sirens, which you hear in many parts of the country. Police say some sort of fragment landed in Israel's coastal area. It's not clear right now if that's from a missile or from an interceptor from Israel's missile defense system. Flights at the airport have since resumed, though. This comes, though, hours before top Israeli cabinet ministers were set to vote on whether or not to intensify the country's military operations in the Gaza Strip. The Israel Defense Force said Saturday it will mobilize thousands of reservists in the coming days in what appears to be a pretty big expansion of its offensive in Gaza. The news has prompted concerns among families of the 59 hostages still being held by Hamas. The Hostages and Missing Families Forum headquarters warned Saturday that, quote, any escalation in the fighting will put the hostages, both living and deceased, in immediate danger. The vast majority of the Israeli public views the return of hostages as the nation's highest moral priority.
Insane. Like,
all right,
absolutely.
Welcome back to YouTube Live now from Vox.
We don't care about Vox right now. Okay, so again, in Homeland, I'm not trying to promote the show, but it's a good show. All right, so in Homeland, there's a scene where the CIA is, because it's a CIA show, the CIA is working with Mossad, which is the CIA of Israel. And you see that they have literal buildings, like people living in an area that you can literally see the border between Israel and Gaza. And I thought to myself, why the fuck would you live there? You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you live in an area that is subject to bombing and missile strikes? And I don't understand. I really don't.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
Like, I don't understand how people
I
can
get
live
it.
there.
I get it. Like, a lot of people don't have a choice, but it's like, damn, are you really willing to bet your life, though? You know?
Like, for what? You know? For what? I don't understand how that's
I mean,
wise.
I guess in their mind would be like, it's either that or the streets, because a lot of people don't have many options over there.
Oh, damn. Jose said, laugh my ass how Tupac said it best. There will never be peace in the Middle East. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
But you know what, though? There used to be peace in the Middle East in the 70s.
Yeah, you said it used to be.
Like, I know, but why can't we go back to that, you know?
A lot of blood's been spilled.
That's like saying because Cuba...
A lot of blood's been spilled and a lot of back and
But a lot
forth.
of blood has been spilled here.
I know, but, you know they want Israel, bro. That's what they want it.
You know, I recently found out that Israel gave Gaza...
But the thing is...
Like, Israel allowed Gaza to exist. Like, Israel used to own all of that.
But this back and forth...
they gave Gaza away.
This back and forth thing they have... It's been going on for a very long time.
Yeah.
Even before
But
the
there was
70s.
a point where Israel had everything because they won this, like, war with, like, 3 other countries or something like that. And they took that part of the land, and then one of the prime ministers of Israel gave it back as, like, a gift. You know how, like, Jimmy Carter gave the Panama Canal for $1 type thing? Well, there was a prime minister in Israel that gave Palestinians Gaza, like, as a gift. And there's actually a video of Trump and Netanyahu talking about this and how Trump said that was a stupid decision to make to the person who did that. And I'm just like, yeah, that was really stupid to make. Like, why would you allow people that you know don't agree with you to literally be living right next to you? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I think that was a bad idea. If you had all of it, you should have kept all of it. Now you're literally just fighting wars after war after war after war. And I don't know. I think that needs to end. Like, he needs to do something about that. They need to stop fighting. Like, what are you fighting for? Okay, you guys believe in your God. We believe in this God. Okay, why do we have to fight about it? You know? Who cares? Believe in your God. Let us believe in our God and just let it be. Why does there have to be so much bloodshed and turmoil? Like, just give back the people you took, Hamas, and Israel stop bombing them. And that's it. That's it. And then the countries around Gaza and Israel need to come together to fund Gaza. in order for it to be a livable place again. And that's it. Like, I don't understand why this has to be so fucking complicated. People make it complicated. It doesn't have to be. If you don't want war, you don't want bloodshed, then that's what needs to happen. Maybe that's going to happen in the near future. I don't know, but, you know, it needs to happen sooner rather than later because, you know, how many more people are going to, how many more people have to die for there to be actual peace there? I mean, it'd be nice to have peace there during our lifetime, you know? That would be nice. Well, we'll see. So, the final story for today is... The truth seeker story is... Diddy case starts tomorrow. Yes. The Diddy case finally starts tomorrow. It's not going to be broadcasted. It's a federal case. There's no federal case that's ever been live streamed or recorded. But reporters are going to be able to go there and they're going to be able to, like, you know, write what's being said and what the defense said and what the prosecutor said, etc. And it's going to go on for days. But this is really big because this is going to be what's going to expose other things. At least I hope so. You know, I hope this is going to expose other things. I would like to see more people actually expose what Diddy was doing all those years. Like, there's so much footage of him doing weird stuff. Like, there's a video of him like hugging Justin Bieber and like patting him down as if like making sure that Justin Bieber, I mean, again, speculating here, I'm not saying anything, I'm just speculating of what I saw. If you can find that video, it's Justin Bieber hugging Diddy, and then Diddy's like patting him down to making sure he doesn't have like a wiring or anything. That's fucking sketchy. Like, it's just, I don't know, man. The guy was not a good guy. He was a very influencing person in all the wrong ways. And there are people that said they went to those parties and they saw a lot of weird shit in there.
Found it.
Sweet. Let's take a look at that.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, really weird. So, and there's just other things, you know, there's that video that's on Reddit of Justin Bieber looking really like messed up, and he was clearly at a party and he looked like he was, you know, yeah. So a lot of weird stuff, guys. There's a video of Drake saying, "Ooh, I love Lil Wayne." You can find that video.
Yeah, no, I'm probably not going to find that.
But there's a video of that. Like, there's just so many videos of rappers doing...
Ooh, Lil Wayne. Ooh, he's just so
doing
good.
Gay shit, bro.
So
like, I'm
good.
going to say it. Doing gay shit, okay?
He literally said that.
And what's really fucked up is that they literally make themselves look like they're these macho men and I'm this macho guy and, you know, I fuck shit up and I'm in a gang and all this shit. And then behind closed doors, you're doing gay shit. You know, allegedly.
I'm going to try to find it, but it's probably scrubbed
all
at
right.
this point.
So it just comes to show that the rap industry, the music industry is filled with debauchery. And it shouldn't have to fucking be filled with that shit. Like, have you guys seen the movie Babylon? Is that what it's called? Babylon?
Yeah.
Bro, watch that movie. Listen, I'm a big movie person, as you can tell. As anybody who's been watching my stuff, you know I'm a big movie person. Last and I love movies. We're really big on that media world. And there's a movie called Babylon, and let me tell you, that movie is pretty spot on. I don't know. I could be wrong, but why would you make a movie like that? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're not trying to tell us something. Movies are subliminal messages.
I found it.
Oh, shit, you found it?
I actually found it.
That's awesome. All right, let's do it.
You literally just put Drake is gay in YouTube.
Because everybody's fucking knowing now.
And
Everybody knows that shit.
It's the very first video.
That's crazy.
asks, who has been your favorite artist to work with and why?
Oh, I have to say, I can't say one person. I gotta say there's 3 people that I have to say. Well, me and Jay have like the greatest relationship, so every time we work, it's always fun. No matter what we're doing, music or just shows or whatever, we have a phenomenal relationship. So I love working with Jay.
Bro, just look
in
how
the
gay he
studio,
looks, bro.
the greatest experience I had was with Alicia Keys. She made it so comfortable for me
Comfortable.
to be there. Just I was a little intimidated and overwhelmed.
Look at the way
and
he's
she just made me feel
sitting.
right at home. And
Sure,
we
here
came
you
up
go.
with a great song, which is Unthinkable, the song that's out right now. And Wayne is my favorite person to work with, though, because it's just, ooh, little Wayne, he's just too good.
You gotta give Wayne
He's
the
just
love.
too good. He's just too good. Little Wayne is just too
What the fuck, bro?
good.
What the
It's just, ooh, little Wayne is just too good.
You gotta give Wayne
It's
the
just
love.
too good.
Drake,
It's just
thank
too good.
you
Yeah.
so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, I bet he was too good.
Yeah, I bet he was.
I bet he was too good. All right, let me see here. Oh, damn, I forgot about that. 50 Cent has been exposing Diddy for years. It's only now that people are listening to him. Orlando Brown too, but I can't blame anyone for not believing that guy. Laugh my ass out. Yeah, Orlando Brown. Yeah, bro, he went crazy though. Poor guy. I wonder what happened to him. But like a lot of people do. Like, think about that. Why is it that so many Disney people like lose their shit after Disney? Have you noticed that? So many people just like go into drugs, or they just like go and do some like extreme shit, like shave their head or something. Like, so what is going on in that industry that makes people just drastically change their lifestyle and their appearance? Like, I think that something very sinister, very dark is happening in Hollywood, in the music industry. And Diddy is literally the pawn of this. And a lot of people are like, oh, he's not the big shark. We need to get the big sharks. Yeah, he may not be the big shark, but he is a shark that we got. And he can be a rat. And he looks like he's a rat. And if he's a rat, that's good, because that means he will rat out the big sharks. Which is essentially, I'm sure, what any prosecutor would want, is for the rat to be ratting out the rest. But I think this is huge. I'm excited for that. I want to see what comes out of it. But you guys, if you guys like this video, if you like what we have to say, if you like the content, if you don't like it, doesn't matter. But you listen to it, because I'm not forcing you to listen to me. I'm just giving you my perspective, and you take it as you want or you don't, and that's okay. But like, share, and subscribe. Become a truth seeker and fund and help the program grow. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys next time.
Told you weren't gonna do an hour.